My name is Noah Lockley Jr. They call me Noel. I picked that up in Catholic school a long time ago. Everybody been calling me my original name is Noah. I'm named after my dad. My parents' name is, my mother, she's deceased now, but her name was Brunelle Lockley. She was a Gatlin. Her maiden name was Gatlin. So it was Brunelle Lockley Gatlin, or Gatlin Lockley. My dad's name is Noah Lockley Sr. And I was originally born in Appalachia. Lived here just about all my life. I went off from work, come back. But I homesteaded here. Well, I went to, little boy, I went to Catholic school. They went back then they went until the 8th grade. And I was amongst the last, I was one of the last, in the last class that graduated from Catholic school, Holy Family. That was back in 1965. We was the last 8th grade class they had. They closed down. From there we ventured over to Quinn High. Stayed there a couple of years. And that's when the integration, we stayed there 3 years. 2 years. And that's when they called itself, was the integration began. And in my 11th grade, which some of them went in the 10th. I could have went in the 10th, but the parents had to sign for you back then to go. And mine didn't sign that year, so I stayed 2 years at Quinn, and next year they fully integrated. So everybody had to leave Quinn and go to Chapman. It was called Chapman High School to me.
So how was it, that initial integration?
And that was bad at first. It wasn't that nice. I mean, when we went there, they didn't treat us like they should. I mean, back then, for instance, at Quinn we had, the only sports they had at Quinn was basketball. Well, when we changed over to Chapman, where they had football and basketball, well, then too many black people play football because, we didn't have no background in it. We never had a team out there. Only thing we know about football was what we played on our own in the street. But we knowed about basketball. And we had some good teams back then. So the first year when we went over there, I mean, first thing they done was, when basketball season rolled around, you had all the players who had been playing over at Quinn, went in there and they said who all want to go out for the team meeting in one of them classrooms. I don't remember exactly which one. So the first thing, everything we did, and the first thing they did was, if you was black, and the first thing he told us in 12th grade, he wasn't going to let no seniors play. And they didn't. I mean, they just didn't give you the opportunity to go out for the team. They just said, well, they wasn't gonna play no senior. That was the excuse to get, just for the kids not to play. And they just, it was bad. Them white folks, we went to class. That was on that part, okay, for education. I mean, they said they was teaching us, but it was always, you could tell it was different. They gave the black kids, we still was we had a bad time. They just didn't treat us right. We went out, you go to class, you go to lunch. First one in there, well, with the first day we went out there, they had some bleachers. We walked in that morning, you going to a new school, you already. All the white kids, I guess they were there before we was. But we seen a few of them sitting on the benches. They had benches around us. One or two of us decided we want to sit down. When we sit down on the bench, they got up. They got up and left. So, okay, that'd be good. We'll sit on that. We figured that was not quick, so we just fill up all the benches every day. If y'all want to stand up, good. So, go around the lunchroom. Lunchtime, same thing. You're supposed to be integrated. You're supposed to be able to sit at any table you want. But back then they had all the whites in one place. And if a black go sit to the table where the whites at, they'll get up. They wanted all us to sit at one table, a couple tables, and they had the rest of it. So we figured that one out too. We just put a black on each table. And then you know what? They had to stand up and eat then. It was just a little crazy in there. And they cut out back at Quinn. They had prom. They had prom at Chapman too. To the year we got out there. After high school, I got married. So when I got pregnant, I got married. So we got married. And I had 8 sisters and brothers. They all went to school. A&M, Fresh U or whatever. Got in real. And I had the opportunity, but I told Daddy, he said, well, going to college and we'll help with the baby till you finish, I said, no, I'm going to get me a job. I said, I'm not going to see I'm not going to college. I said, I'm going to do like you. I'm going to do my responsibility. And that's what I did. I went and got married. And I got a job. Well, I worked down in the seafood. Then I went to Norman. Come back. And I seen, I had 2 kids then. I said, well, come back and got a job on the city. And it wasn't, the little money they were paying. Well, I think I was making about $1.25 an hour. So by the time you made just enough to go to the store, I said, I'm
gonna try that fishing. And I did. I tried fishing, and it was, you made more than what you made on the city if you caught fish. But when I first started out, they didn't, now they have what you call a guarantee. But back then, they didn't have no guarantee, so much money if you don't catch nothing. So we had to kind of boycott them, told them we wasn't going on no boat till they get us, we was away from home. And if you didn't, at first you was just out there, if you didn't catch fish, you wasn't doing nothing but making a bill. And the bad part about it, I was out in Mississippi,
And I'm not catching fish. You don't make money until you catch a fish. But you eating 3 times a day. And that what you call, you was making a bill. I said, wait a minute now, this ain't right. We ain't doing nothing but out here eating and then when you make money, the company was working for, they wouldn't wait. They want all their money at one time. I said, well, we done been out here this long, now we make the first paycheck and you gonna take all your money? They said, yeah, so we got together and told them we wasn't doing it. Threatened to come home. They thought we were joking until it was time to go out, and we stood on the dock. So they called themselves on scale. Said, well, okay, y'all ain't going to work. Get off the premises. Oh, fine with me. I'm going on. So they seen we weren't playing when all of us got our suitcase. By the time we got to the gate, they said, okay, we'll talk to y'all. And they let us. Then they started giving us a guarantee. It was something you brought home. Then you could bring home money, whether you caught fish or not. Most time, if you with a good captain, you're going to catch it over that anyway. But it was good in case of bad weather and stuff like that. Well, moving into politics, I thought back in, let's see, 04, I just was, some people come ask me, they said, well, why don't you run for, why don't you be a politician? Man, I ain't got time for that. And then I think I was at an event, like it was either event, somehow Mr. Speed was talking up into to the St. Paul one day. And God had to be in the plan. I wasn't going to church that not, and if I went, I usually go to the Sanctified church. But for some reason, I went around there for a program. And he made a statement. And he said, well, he was trying to, it was like a motivation speech, because he was saying, sometime in life you need to try things that you don't know how to come up, but he was saying he was a politician. And he said, and he was getting old, said one day you should have tried yourself. He just made that. He said you need to put your name in the pot.
and you never know what'll happen. If it's for you, you'll get it. If not, it wasn't for you. And I thought about that thing. First year, I just let it go by. And the people were still asking me. People were still asking me to run. I said, okay. And so I ran. Matter of fact, I ran against your granddaddy, and he was a good man, Mr. Clam was. But I wasn't trying to take his job and nothing. I know sooner or later he was gonna have to retire. And I looked up on one. I went and talked to him before I ran and told him, I said, well, I know sooner or later, I said, I want to get my name thrown out there, and then maybe when you retire, if people know me. Me and him talking, he said, okay. That's how I got into it. And I've been in, well, that's probably the worst mistake I ever made in my life. There was plenty of headaches. It's plenty of headaches. But it's good come with it. I mean, you learn a lot. I mean, people think politics not what people think it is. You go in there, you be thinking you can't change it. You can't do nothing by yourself. Anything you do, you got to have two more people to go along with you. So you got to put a vote in it. It's 5 of us, and you got to pass 3-2 on anything. So I be looking at people when they running for stuff saying, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that. See, I don't say that. I say I'm gonna try to do it. I try it, and if I can do it, I'll do it. But as long as you've been in there and you get, especially if you've been around the same boat, you got a good chance of getting things done. Because they gonna want something done, and we work by district. They gonna need something. When I need something, I vote with them to get theirs, and they vote with me to get mine. And the longer you get in there, especially if you got the same people, you can get some moved. But when most of you people don't get nothing done, it's like a new boat come in. It'd be a lot of argument. Everybody, new person want their way in. They be, I've been young and been a young politician. You be told the people you gonna do this, you gonna do that. You go in there and try. Sometimes you might get lucky and some of that'll work, but all of it's not gonna work. But I've been there for my 4th term. Going on, this is my 13th year. At the end, it'll be 16. I try to, all you do is satisfy the people. That's all. As long as you keep them satisfied, you'll be okay. Then the people know you can't do everything, but if you try to, if they ask you to do something you try, even if you fail, they'll be satisfied if you try. But if a lot of politicians, you can go to and a person will go to them and say, well, can you do such and such a thing? Some people will tell them, yeah, no, and they can't. But then, if you just tell them, I'll try it. I don't know how to come out. And if you try it, and it don't come out, most time they're going to be sitting in that audience. And they'll say, at least he tried.